When you raise your voice, yell at your cat, or try to punish them for doing something wrong, do you actually know what they are trying to say to you? Yes, it is incredibly frustrating when they scratch the sofa or knock over your favorite glass. But behind their reaction to your anger, there is something deeper. And if you misunderstand this subtle reaction, which most well-meaning owners do, you could be silently destroying the delicate trust it took you years to build. Let us start with how their tiny feline brain actually processes your sudden bursts of anger. Because they are not simply ignoring your house rules out of spite. When they freeze or run away, they are not being stubborn. In that intense moment, they are genuinely just trying to survive you and your unpredictable emotions. 1. They do not understand the concept of a mistake. When you catch your cat scratching the rug and you shout at them, you think you are teaching them. You believe that a stern voice will show them what they did wrong. But researchers at the University of Pennsylvania found that cats completely lack this specific cognitive ability. They cannot connect a delayed punishment with their past action. They simply do not think, I am in trouble right now because I scratched the rug 10 minutes ago. Instead of learning a lesson about furniture, they just see the gentle human they love suddenly acting extremely aggressive, loud, and dangerously unpredictable in their own territory. That is not healthy discipline. That is a terrifying betrayal of their safe space. They feel completely cornered by the one person who is supposed to protect them. If they could put their feline feelings into our words, it would sound exactly like this. I do not understand why you are mad, but I am terrified. I do not know what I did, but I am so scared of you right now. Please stop making those loud noises and go back to being gentle. And by the way, if your cat ever suddenly stops sleeping with their back turned to you, do not brush it off. We will get into that silent warning. 2. Your raised voice sounds exactly like a predator. You might think raising your voice just shows them who is the boss and establishes your firm boundaries. But to a tiny cat, loud, booming sounds immediately trigger an ancient survival instinct. Studies from the University of Vienna on acoustic startle responses show something truly fascinating. They have incredibly sensitive hearing, designed to detect the faint rustle of a mouse in the grass. But it also detects the roar of a dangerous threat. When you yell, you are no longer acting like a calm authority figure. You are mimicking a large, dangerous predator about to attack them in their own home. They are not being stubborn when they suddenly scramble under the bed to hide from you. They are genuinely fighting for their life in that exact moment. They feel overwhelmed and completely unsafe. That is not an effective way to teach a lesson. That is a quick way to destroy their sense of security. If they could speak to you, they would say it like this. Your voice hurts my ears and breaks my heart. Please speak softly to me again. And if you want to rebuild that shattered trust, it starts with lowering your volume and approaching them quietly. Which brings us to the next massive mistake. And hey, if learning this is already lifting some of that heavy cat owner guilt off your shoulders, hit like and subscribe so we can reach more owners. 3. The water bottle makes you the enemy. For decades, people have used spray bottles to stop cats from jumping on the counters or scratching the furniture. You probably think a quick squirt of water is a harmless way to enforce house rules, but it actually creates a deep psychological rift between you two. They do not associate the unpleasant water with the kitchen counter or the sofa. They associate the terrible spraying water directly with you, the person holding it. The International Cat Care Organization strictly warns that using physical punishments, like water sprays, only creates a permanent climate of fear and significantly increases their daily stress levels. This is not successfully setting boundaries for them. This is actively teaching your beloved cat to fear your physical presence and to run away whenever you approach them. They just learn to wait until you leave the room to do the behavior anyway. The only thing you have changed is how much they trust you. If they could explain it to you, they would ask this. I thought your hands were only for gentle pets. Why are they bringing the scary rain? Instead of spraying them, try offering a much more attractive scratching post nearby. Because the next common punishment we use is actually much more damaging to their fragile hearts. 4. Timeouts actually break their fragile heart. Sometimes we get so mad we lock the cat in another room just to force them to calm down. You probably think giving them a timeout in the hallway teaches them a strict lesson about boundaries, and what is considered bad behavior in the family home. But they absolutely do not use this quiet time to reflect on their past actions, analyze the situation, or understand their mistakes like a human child would. To a tiny creature that relies entirely on you for its whole world and sense of safety, this punishment just feels like sudden, unexplained and terrifying abandonment. Researchers at Oregon State University have proven that domestic cats form incredibly deep, secure emotional attachments to their human caregivers, very much like human babies actually do. When you isolate them as a harsh punishment, it causes extreme separation anxiety. This is not a helpful time out to cool off. It is a real emotional trauma. They just sit alone by the closed wooden door, confused and highly stressed, wondering why the person they love most in the whole world just kicked them out. If they could tell you how they feel, it would sound like this. I am sorry for whatever I did. Please do not leave me in the dark. 5. They hide their intense fear right in plain sight. You might easily think your cat is perfectly fine after a loud and stressful scolding finally ends, because instead of running away, they just sit down casually on the living room rug and start grooming their fur. You assume they are relaxed and moving on, but animal behaviorists at the University of Lincoln highlight that sudden, intense grooming immediately after a verbal conflict is actually a very well-documented feline displacement behavior. It is a frantic coping mechanism. They are desperately trying to soothe their racing heart, lower their blood pressure, and manage a massive spike of internal anxiety. That is absolutely not a sign of a calm and relaxed cat. That is a vulnerable animal, desperately trying to internally process how terrifying you just were. They are not ignoring your anger with a sassy or aloof attitude. They are completely overwhelmed by the negative energy you brought into their carefully controlled, safe territory. If they could speak, they would gently whisper to you right now, I am making myself very small and clean, so you will not be mad at me anymore. 6. The silent sign of broken trust. This brings us directly to the important warning moment I promised you at the very start of this video. It is a subtle behavior that every single cat owner needs to watch out for carefully in their own home, especially after a loud and stressful argument. When a feline truly trusts you completely and feels safe, they will very often choose to sleep right next to you, with their back turned entirely toward your face. This is the ultimate emotional compliment in the feline world. They are willingly giving you their vulnerable blind spot, trusting you to watch over them while they rest. But animal behavior researchers at Nottingham Trent University note that when a cat feels genuinely threatened by highly unpredictable owner behavior, something deep inside their mind changes. Their long-term social memory actually alters their natural sleeping habits and resting positions to ensure they can survive a sudden aggressive outburst in the family bedroom. If they suddenly stop turning their back to you and instead always choose to sleep facing you with half-open eyes, that delicate trust is unfortunately broken. They simply no longer feel completely safe in your presence. They feel they need to constantly keep an eye on you just in case you explode again. They are absolutely not being aloof or stubbornly independent right now. They are actively protecting themselves from the exact person who is supposed to protect and love them. But here is the most beautiful and forgiving thing about feline psychology in your home. That shattered trust can always be beautifully rebuilt if you are willing to try. If you finally drop the harsh physical punishments, lower your volume, and offer soft, slow blinks from across the quiet room, your cat will absolutely notice it. They do not hold long, bitter grudges like human beings often do. They do not want you to be totally perfect. They just want to feel secure again. They just want to be yours forever. And every single time they choose to close their eyes and slowly blink back at you from across the living room, they are giving you a beautiful fresh start and a clean slate. They are offering you pure forgiveness for all the loud noises and the scary moments. If they could speak our language, they would look at you and gently say, I forgive you for everything. Let us try to be best friends again.